This video is going to discuss the toolbar. The toolbar is located here at the bottom of my screen. It can, if you want to expand the size of your screen with the arrow up and down button here in the bottom right corner, I can click that and the toolbar has now disappeared out of view and I have a larger display for student viewing. If I bring that toolbar back, again, we've got the PC interactivity mode where I can toggle between annotation mode and PC operation mode. I have the hand with the finger pointing up. This is to turn on and off touch interactivity. That way I can either manipulate the board with my finger or I can turn off that touch and I can no longer interact with it with anything other than the pen. One nice feature about the toolbar is it doesn't have to stay at the bottom of the screen. You have the ability to drag it to the side, you could drag it to the top, and you could drag it again to the other side. So with the toolbar, on the left-hand side, we've got a few features here. We've got the home button, which will take us to our inputs for the board. Here we will see that we've got our PC input. If you have a document camera or other inputs connected to your projector, they will show up in the other squares. The options at the bottom, there's a whiteboard option, which we will discuss in a different video, as well as a split screen mode, which we will also discuss in another video. If I exit out of there, I'm back to my PC input. The next button on the bar allows me to turn off the screen. So it mutes the screen to remove any distractions or for whatever purpose you might like in your projection, in your teaching. And then I can easily bring it back. The button remains in the bottom left corner. By pushing it, the screen is back right away instantaneously. The next button is a zoom feature. So if I want to call attention to something on the board, I can zoom in and continue to interact. I'm in PC interactive mode, or PC operation mode, I should say. So I can interact with the web page or whatever program that I've got on. So I can zoom in, I can zoom out. If I zoom really far in and I don't want to zoom all the way back out with a bunch of buttons, there's a one-time zoom. I just push it and I'm back to my original input. And there's also a screen grab kind of mode where I can highlight a particular section of the screen and it will zoom in to that section on the screen. Again, I can return back to my one-time mode. Our next feature on the toolbar is the screen grab mode. It looks like a camera. If I click that, I have the choice of selecting full screen or a selected area. This will take a screen grab of what I like. So if I choose a selected area, I can then choose what that area looks like. I can take a picture of that and it tells me that it has been captured and sent to the whiteboard. Which brings us to the next button on the bar, which is the whiteboard mode. When I click that, you can see my screen grab is sitting on the whiteboard. I can double click it and move it over onto the board for better viewing. I can also change, because I now have my PC on one side and the whiteboard on the other. There's these three bars here. If I grab them, I can move them to different widths of the screen so that I have a larger whiteboard available. Again, I can bring it back a little bit, or I can continue to whatever spot on the board that I want to interact with the whiteboard versus the PC. The final piece here is the three dots. And here brings up a number of different items. The primary one that you may find of use is the timer. This has a built-in timer, so it allows me to set a time and I can either decide to count up or count down depending on what it is that I'm using the timer for. And then the timer will run. When it's done, it'll let us know. And then again, we have our inking tools here, the annotation tools. So we have the option of selecting pen, highlighter, or shapes, different thicknesses of pen, thicknesses of highlighter, and the shapes, whether we want them to be hollow or filled in shapes. I have the different colors that I can select from. I have an eraser, and then I have the touch interactivity, which is kind of like being a mouse, clicking and dragging, and then the trash where I can delete. And that pretty much sums up our toolbar.